This year's topic is diversity. We've been keep saying minority is a new majority. What do you think about this slogan?
Well, diversity has been, a topic du jour, I have to say, for the last several years, and I think it's really kind of hit this momentum, particularly in the last couple of years, but, even this year where you've seen more and more women joining boards, you've seen more and more women and minorities ascend C-suite positions. So I think new majority is an interesting term. It's very aspirational because we're not quite there yet. But collectively, if this momentum continues, it doesn't seem as far off as it may have seemed years ago.
Okay, thank you. And as an Asian American female leader, what is the most challenging part in your career?
The challenging parts are challenging for any leader, right? So, I face those challenges every day, but I'm always very aware of my position as an Asian American and as an Asian American woman, and I always want to make sure that I lead by example, that I walk the talk, and that I'm also very aware that I'm also a role model for people. I think one of the topics in this, or one of the pieces of conversation in the panels that I was listening to, was how for many people who are minorities in leadership positions, it can be very lonely, right. And you don't have a lot of role models out there. And so when you see somebody else who looks like you, who is in that position, it makes you feel better that that you can be there in that same position. So I know that for others, I can serve that purpose, and I'm just very aware of it. And I want to make sure that I lead by example there.
Sure. So people will feel more connected to their role models.
Yes.
So do you have any advices for next generation Asian American, especially girls?
I think that the only person that holds you back is yourself. So it's so true that if you don't believe in yourself, or you are not confident in your skills, or not confident in who you are, that you limit yourself. Other people can't do that for you. Another great remark on the panel was that you can never be too confident. If you're overly confident, there will be people out there who will easily knock you down. So people are there's no shortage of that, but there aren't that many people out there who will help lift you up. So you yourself need to always believe in yourself and believe in your skills and be confident in them. And even if you don't feel it, fake it in the beginning, and you will get there.
Okay, I see. So you mean fake it until you make it.
Fake it until you make it. Exactly. There's truth to that.
Definitely. And before joining the NYIC New York Stock Exchange, you were an award-winning journalist, business journalist. So why did you move from media to finance?
Well, I get that question. I get that question asked of me a lot. And I guess I step back and say that there were a lot of things that I did when I was a journalist, particularly as an anchor of my own program, that really those skills helped me in becoming an executive at the New York Stock Exchange. I didn't grow up saying that I wanted to be in business or anything like that. A lot of things have happened just by luck and by me being prepared for those opportunities. I'm very grateful for my career in journalism. I think it taught me a lot of skills on how to relate to people, how to listen, just how to connect and be a good storyteller. And those are a lot of the skills that I'm bringing into my role at the New York Stock Exchange, where we're enriching our C-suite community. We're putting the NYSE right to the conversation of entrepreneurship and innovation, and telling stories about our community. And that's a lot of the things that I'm focused on there.
We would also like to know, what is your biggest inspiration when you work?
What is my greatest what?
Inspiration.
It's you mean who's my greatest inspiration?
Yes.
Or I think that there's not any one single person who's an inspiration for me. I think it's people who are just very authentic, are people that I'm constantly inspired by. I think that in our workplace, we always believe we believe that we have to be a professional and a personal self, and really that's not true. A lot of who you are personally is who you are professionally. So when I see people out there who are very much themselves in the workplace and very authentic, I really admire that, and it inspires me to continue to be more authentic.
Okay, and we have one last question.
Yeah.
So we've seen you work in many places, including Hong Kong and Taiwan.
Yep.
What is the biggest difference working in Asia and the US?
That's a great question. Well, number one, working in Asia, everyone looks like me, so that's very helpful. I would say that, let me think about that for a moment. A big difference between the two. I mean, there's obvious cultural differences.
Cultural difference, different environments.
Yeah, obvious cultural differences. Here we might be more emboldened to speak out, whereas, working in Asia,
they encourage being more.
Yeah, like, a little bit, exactly. So, so there's certain cultural differences, but, I had the opportunity and the luck to really work. I worked always for Western companies when I was in Asia, so I always saw a blend, or a mix between Eastern and Western culture, at the companies, that I was at. I just think that it's, I think in terms of, the major differences is probably what I just said, which is, here, we're encouraged to speak up, and we're encouraged to, to really counter conventions. And sometimes in Asia, that's not exactly, that isn't always encouraged.
Okay, thank you so much.